we got wide receivers, we got cornerbacks.
Yeah.
So first up, wide receivers. The room is gone, addition by subtraction in a way. There is a lot of really good players in this room now. Jake,
Yeah.
what's your take on this wide receiver room?
Man, tough. This is the toughest to say, probably. I mean, you have so much talent in there. You got Ty Jones, Puka Nakua, Terrell Bynum, newcomer, Roma Dunze. You got McMillan coming in. There's Marquise Spiker, who's been kind of lost in the translation.
He just made like a bunch of he only had a few catches, but they're all huge plays.
Right. They were super flashy, but he wasn't in the regular rotation. And it wasn't until late in the year when everybody got tired of the two wide receivers that we played every game, every snap of every game, that he finally started getting some looks. It's so hard to say. Yeah, I like the defensive line. I hope that you see a steady rotation of these wide receivers, keep fresh legs in, because you have the depth. So let's just see these guys coming in left and right and all the time. If not in one drive, then give two guys one drive and then give the next two guys the next drive. It's hard to say, but man, there's a lot of depth. As far as starters go, what do you want? You want two wideouts and a slot?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Let's go Ty Jones, Puka Nakua. I'm going to put Puka as my number one and Ty Jones as my number two. Ty Jones is more of a red zone threat than anything. I'm going to go Terrell Bynum as your slot, and I think that's probably your best three at this moment.
Yeah, and I do want to see them. I mean, I want to see a rotation like you're talking about, but I want to see these guys be able to get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
So I think that those three guys, Terrell Bynum absolutely earned that spot last year with how he played. Yeah. Of course, we've heard some things, especially about Roma Dunze playing really, really well in this fall camp. So, but what I've seen of Ty Jones, he looks bigger and stronger. And that was kind of his thing. He's still really, really athletic. He's still 6'4". And he's making really, really nice catches. So I'm expecting a lot out of him. And, the thing is Puka Nakua did not catch many balls last year, but he was just so electric that you saw the talent. And so Puka Nakua's will he have the most catches? I don't know. Will he have the most yards or touchdowns? Who knows? He's the most talented receiver in that room.
Yeah, and Puka got hit with the injury bug last year and missed most of the season. It seemed like they finally let him play. That BYU game, he caught that long touchdown pass, and then the next game he caught a couple more, and then everybody's getting excited, and he's hurt, and he's out for the year, and that's a bummer. I'd like to see what we can get from him from a full year. I think he's your most athletic and gifted wide receiver that you have on this roster.
Right.
So let's see what he could do. From Ty Jones, what I would like to see, you're 6'4", you're a big, strong kid. Go high point the ball, especially in the red zone. Get above those 5'8" corners and go high point that ball and win those battles, because that's what this offense needs from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then behind him, I think that the guys that you're going to see, Austin Osborne, by all accounts, has looked really good in camp. You have Roma Dunze that we already talked about. I think he's separated himself as a guy that could very well be in the rotation right off the bat.
Better than McMillan?
I haven't heard his name as much. I'm still on the Marquise Spiker because he, late in the year when he finally got a chance, he made some plays. And, when it comes to getting young receivers in, and all three of those guys, those are all young receivers. It's a true freshman and two redshirt sophomores. You have to block. Yeah. And that's all. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the incoming running back, Sam Adams, run some slot too.
You could. We'll get to that. My guess is he probably redshirts because his skill set is very similar to Sean McGrew's.
Sure.
The one that I'm I'm curious that maybe he's got some big plays in him like he did last year. Somebody like Jordan Chin.
Jordan Chin, yeah, for sure.
That would be good for us because it's our
He's kind of
Logan.
a specialty. Yeah, he's kind of a specialty guy. He's kind of the deep threat only guy.
Right.
Seems like. So when he's in, if you see Jordan Chin go in the game, just look deep
Right.
because that's where he's going. He's
Right.
running go routes, and that's it. And then he's getting gassed, and he's coming back and getting the oxygen.
Well, and I think he must be a pretty decent blocker because he did get to play. He was on the field. He wasn't targeted a ton, and I think it was some sort of that misdirection where decoy, 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 and then he goes.
Yeah,
Which, hey, get on the field and contribute. That's what you're looking for.
right.
So, yeah, and then of course to go along with that, we got tight ends, and this one's I think was probably the easiest one, especially pick the number one target was very
Right.
easy.
Yeah.
And I think there's just some really good stuff going on in the tight end room, like always.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I mean, you know who my favorite player on this team is.
Yeah, I do.
Say it.
Cotton.
Cotton. I love Cotton. That dude is, of all the tight ends that have gotten drafted over the last couple of years, you look at Drew Sample, you look at Will Disley. Cotton, by far, in my opinion, has better hands than all of those guys. I think he has better hands than Hunter Bryant does.
I would agree with that.
And Hunter Bryant has really good hands. But Cotton doesn't drop anything. And for that reason, and he's a good blocker. And for that reason, he has to be your number one.
Yeah.
And
just got engaged.
Congrats. I bet that was a hell of a catch
dangerous
too.
Man.
I bet that was a hell of a catch too. And then by default, that makes Devin Culp your number two, and you're gonna see him in some packages, but you're not gonna see him as much 1-2 as you did with Hunter Bryant and Cotton last year.
Oh, I disagree.
You think so?
Have you? Oh my gosh, there is a highlight of him catching a ball over the middle, and this and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't remember, and I wouldn't embarrass him like this, but he stiffs arm him to the ground for a touchdown.
You want to talk highlights? Let's talk Jacob Eason.
Yeah, he's good.
And then get completely underperformed.
So here's the thing.
Highlights are cute, but they don't do it every time.
Shut up. Devin Culp came in, and so Devin Culp comes in. He's a skinny power forward.
Sure.
After his redshirt year, he comes back. He looks like a defensive lineman. He now looks like a linebacker.
Okay. I mean,
and he's athletic. He can run. He can jump. He can catch.
I just don't think that you're going to see them included in as many packages as you saw the two last year. That's what I'm saying.
I'll remember that, and you'll be wrong.
Okay. And then we'll forget if I'm wrong. That's what we do best.
Yeah, but when I get to tell you you're wrong, I remember.
We're guys and we're dads. We literally forget everything.
Uh-huh.
I forget half the time I'm right, and I'm not usually right.
Yeah.
You think we see any young kids, Mark Redmond or anybody? You think so?
I think you'll see Mark Redmond in on something.
It's too easy not to this year, right? Without losing eligibility to be able to play these guys free, you kind of have to throw Mark Redmond in a couple of times and get him some game speed. And
Jacob Kaiser opted out of the season, so there's another spot where you're missing out on guys.
Well, and it's just free play time. It's game reps.
Right.
Obviously you want to win, but obviously you want to get these young guys some playing time as well too, so that when they do see the grass, they're not overwhelmed.
You'll see they have him listed, Jack Westover, they have him listed at a tight end. He's a fullback.
Yeah.
And then the other one that you should be watching out for is, and where did his name go? Jack Yerry.
Jack Yerry.
Yeah, and he's going to be a blocker.
Is he going to play this year?
Yeah, he's listed. He's ready to go.
He's the USC transfer.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't a transfer. He never enrolled.
That's right. I still
So,
could. Yeah, I guess I'd still consider him a transfer.
yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. He's a flip.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people that said that he was an elite left tackle prospect.
Oh,
So if you're an elite left tackle prospect and they have you in, you're going to be blocking. I
it's
mean,
goal line.
yeah, I could see
it's,
a jumbo package.
yeah, it's goal line with 1 to go, and you need to get 1 yard, and you have Newton behind you, and
Right.
all you're doing is just pushing forward.
Right.
I hear you.
Let's move on from the pass catchers to the pass defenders. We have my favorite position group. We have the corners and the safeties. So this is another one where it's kind of hard to, dime packages, nickel packages. So let's kind of go with your top 4 corners, a couple of maybe rotation guys, and then your top 2 safeties and a rotation guy or 2.
I think corners is pretty easy.
Probably the easiest on the field.
Right. Elijah Molden, your best corner. He's probably going to play a lot of slot. That's just what he's best at.
Yep. Well, they can also move him down to like a Buda Baker kind of a role.
Right. Yeah. And what I like about him is they plug him in the run holes.
Yep.
All the time, and he's so good at that. And he's such a sure tackler. Keith
He led
Taylor,
the team in tackles a few games.
right? Mm-hmm. Keith Taylor, you're kind of your like unsung hero of that secondary, just because he doesn't get picked on. Guys don't want to throw to him, and that's not a bad problem to have.
The only problem is you don't have an interception yet. That is a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're not thrown at,
I'm talking in that room, he gets crap for that.
Yeah, well, he'll get it.
Yeah.
He'll get a couple this year.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kyler Gordon, kind of roughed up last year. Got taken advantage of. He was I think you'll see some strides from him this year. And last is Trent McDuffie, and he balled out last year, and I expect to see a lot more from him this year. Those are my top 4 corners for sure.
I think there's a drop, not necessarily a big drop, but those are
your top 4.
Yeah, sure. And Kyler Gordon got better and better as the season went. He's an absolute star in special teams.
Right.
He switched his number to number 2, and if you're going to wear number 2 at the University of Washington,
you better be good.
You're going to be good.
Yeah, you better be good.
He's the most athletic guy on the team.
Yeah.
So I expect that the issues with him that were there in the beginning of the year to be totally fixed. I don't know how teams are going to really throw on this group.
especially with the safeties behind them. It's going to be tough, man. I mean, that's a lot of depth at your corner. If Kyler Gordon does figure it out and does get to that potential, because he is by far the best athlete in that corner room.
Yeah.
If he does figure it out, they're going to be so dominant. It's going to be hard to throw on any. This could be potentially the best cornerback room we've seen at UW in 20 years.
Oh, yeah, I agree. There's
been a lot of good ones.
There has been, but if you look at the guys that are behind too, Dominic Hampton played well last year when he got in, and Julius Ervin has made some strides as well.
I would like to see Julius Ervin a little bit more. I really would. I think that guy has practiced his butt off, and I think he's just been overshadowed by better talent. But I'd like to see him on the field. 2021
will be his year. He'll be a starting corner, and Dominic Hampton will be the other starting corner. And they will – I don't know if they can find a couple other guys to develop into those other roles, then you're not going to see a drop-off. And then, of course, safeties. You got Asa Turner and Cam Williams.
Yeah, those are going to be your 2 starting safeties.
For the next 2 years.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can write the book on that. You see probably see Julius Ervin probably back up one of them. If somebody goes down, you probably see Ervin come in the game.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, you just look for those 2 to be your rocks back there, and those guys are going to be the ones you're going to see. Asa Turner coming up and laying the big stick. He came in college either playing linebacker or safety. He chose safety. That's why we got him over Notre Dame. And yeah, and then you're going to see Cam Will back in the back.